Students, we have seen in the introduction and the beginning part of the poem Christabel from Coleridge. We have seen how he builds up atmosphere, and we have seen in introduction that what a ballad is. Ballad is a song transmitted orally from one generation to another and it is a narrative species of folk songs, and how after the traditional ballads, literary ballads came into experiment and vogue, and who were the important literary ballad writers. Coleridge, Keats, and some other writers were there. And in the first stanza, we see that in the middle of the night, various sounds. It may be the clock and cock, and how the cock drowsily crew. And in second stanza, we see Sir Leoline the Baron Rich hath a toothless mastiff bitch, and that bitch shouted shrill and short, and not over loud voices. And now we come to the stanza third, which we are to begin today. And as we have also already noticed that this is the midnight time, and now the poet says, is the night chilly and dark? The night is chilly but not dark. The thin grey cloud is spread on high. It covers but not hides the sky. The moon is behind and at the full, and yet she looks both small and dull. The night is chill, the cloud is grey. It is a month before the month of May, and the spring comes slowly up this way. So we notice, he says about, rather in a question manner, he asks whether the night is chilly and dark, and then answers, the night is certainly chilly, means cold, but not so dark. The thin grey cloud is spread on high, and there are seen grey clouds in the sky. It covers but not hides the sky, and those grey clouds do not hide the sky. The moon is behind, and the moon is behind the clouds and at the full, and the moon can be perceived or seen as the full moon, and that is behind the clouds. But the clouds are not so dark that can hide the moon. And yet she looks both small and dull. And here the poet personifies moon as a woman, and that woman looks both small and dull, and that moon can be seen, but that moon seems small and dull. It is not totally covered, and it can be seen as small and dull. The night is chill, the cloud is grey, and again this repetition, the night is chilly, the night is chill. This is characteristic of repetition of some line or phrases, is a characteristic of ballad poetry. The night is chill, again emphasized the coldness of the night. The cloud is grey, and the greyish color of the clouds has also been emphasized by repetition of the thought. It is a month before the month of May, and it is a month before the month of May. See alliteration in this line. And he says that it is the month before the month of May, means it is the month of April, and the spring comes slowly up this way, and the month of April, and such atmosphere, such clouds, and this chilly night is suggestive of the going of the winter and coming of spring. So the season of spring is coming slowly in this way. So we can see that in this third stanza, of the poem Christabel, the season, the month, the clouds, and the coldness of the night are adding to the atmosphere of the night, and he is creating another sense of supernatural and mystic character of the atmosphere, and is proceeding further by this atmosphere. And in this manner we proceed towards stanza fourth. The lovely lady Christabel, whom her father loves so well, what makes her in the wood so late, a furlong from the castle gate? She had dreams all yesternight of her own betrothed night, and she in the midnight wood will pray for the weal of her lover that's far away. And here we are introduced with Christabel. And this lovely lady, Coleridge uses this word lovely, and he has himself explained about this word lovely means he uses this word for darling. That lovely or darling lady, Christabel, whom her father loved so well, who was a darling to her father, what makes her in the wood so light, a furlong from the castle gate, and in the night time so late, she has moved away from the home towards the woods, and among the woods there stood castle, and she was a furlong away from the castle gate, and this is with an interrogative, this is asked, rather some sort of suspense and some sort of mysteriosity is again added. That willing suspension of disbelief is working here. What makes her in the wood so light, a furlong from the castle gate? She had dreams all yesternight of her own betrothed night, and it is told to us by the poet that she saw some dreams yesternight of her fiancé, or the person whom she was engaged to be married. That night, she saw that night in her dreams, and she in the midnight, perhaps that dreams was somewhat fearful, and she in the midnight will pray, and perhaps that dream was somewhat fearful about her fiancé, and she in the midnight wood will pray, and she has come there among the woods in the forest to pray for her fiancé, for the weal of her lover, for the wellness, for the safety of her lover that's far away, her lover that is far, far away from her. Again, here some remoteness is suggestive of romantic, of its being romantic. She stole along, She nothing spoke. The sighs she heaved were soft and low, and naught was green upon the oak, but moss and rarest mistletoe. She kneels beneath the huge oak tree, and in silence breathes she. She stole along, means she stealthily came to the forest. She nothing spoke, and she didn't say anyone about her going. The sighs she heaved were soft and low, and there she was sighing, and her sighs were soft and low. In the forest, she was actually heaving, breathing, breathing heavily, and that breathing was heavy, but the sound was soft and low, and naught was green upon the oak, and upon the oak there was nothing green. So the oak was dried and dead. The uh, but moss and rarest milestone, means the leaves on the oak tree were completely dried and dead, and in contrast, mosses were gathered there, and mosses are the leaf where the leaves are dead and dried, but the moss is green there. So the contrast is here of driedness and the greenness of the moss. But moss and naught was green upon the oak. The oak was dried, but moss and rarest mistletoe. She kneels beneath the huge oak tree, and in silence prayeth she. And she kneels beneath the huge oak tree. Very simple lines. And in silence, and there she prays silently. The laddie sprang up suddenly, the lovely lady Christabel. It moaned as near can be, but what it is she cannot tell. On the other side, it seems to be of the huge, broad breasted old oak tree. And there the lady sprang up suddenly, and while praying, she sprang up suddenly. The lovely lady Christabel, it moaned as near can be, and she was startled suddenly by the sound, the morning sound, from somewhere very close, but did not know. But it was a thing of mystery for her that from where the sound is coming to her, and the origination of sound was not known to her. But what it is she cannot tell. She was clueless about the sound. On the other side, it seems to be, and she thought that the sound may be coming from the other side of the huge, broad breasted old oak tree, of the other side of the huge, broad breasted old oak tree. Means here again the breast is given something human, some human quality. Broad breasted means the trunk of the oak tree was a broader one, a broad one. So the sound she perceived, and she thought that the sound must be coming from the other side of the oak tree. So she was startled from the morning sound. So we hear this again, another sound, morning sound, and here some sort of cluelessness is there, some sort of supernatural is there, and this adds to the supernatural atmosphere of the poem. So, students, you read from the beginning to stanza 6 at home, and we shall take the next stanzas in our next class tomorrow. Thank you very much.